A trucker pulls into a dusty gas station in the California desert, climbs down from his cab, grabs a water hose, and starts spraying his own trailer. Not the windshield, not the wheels, the cargo. Up and down the load, again and again, soaking it at 9 in the morning, in the middle of a heat wave, like a man who has completely lost his mind. But look closer. Under the black netting stretched over that trailer, something is moving. All of it is moving. Millions of tiny bodies, shifting, crawling, waking up in the heat. He's not washing his truck. He's making it rain. Because rain is the only signal on Earth that convinces his cargo to calm down, crawl back inside, and go back to sleep. That driver is hauling 20 million honeybees. 20 million. On one trailer. Behind one man, more living passengers than the entire population of New York State, doing 70 miles an hour down the interstate. And his whole job runs on a single rule that flips everything you know about trucking upside down. He can drive all night. He can drive at dawn. But once the sun is up and hot, he can never ever stop, because a moving bee truck is a sleeping bee truck. And a parked one, in daylight, is a countdown. By the end of this video, you'll know why this truck loads only in darkness under blood red lights, why way stations wave it through while everyone else waits in line, and why every single almond you've ever eaten depended on a driver like him refusing to park. Let's go. Every February, something happens in American agriculture that most people have never heard of, even though they eat the results all year long. California's almond orchards bloom. Millions of acres of them all at once for just a few weeks. And almonds have a non-negotiable requirement. Without honeybees moving flower to flower, there is no crop. Not a smaller crop, no crop. The problem? California doesn't have anywhere near enough bees. Nobody does. So every winter, the bees come to the almonds from Florida, from the Dakotas, from Texas, from every corner of the country. It is the largest managed pollination event on Earth, and nearly all of it moves one way, on trucks. Flatbed semis, stacked with hive boxes 4 and 5 high, hundreds of hives per load, netted down and rolling west through the night. Do the math on one truck, and it stops feeling like freight. 400, 500 hives. Each hive holding tens of thousands of bees. One trailer, one driver carrying somewhere between 15 and 20 million living creatures behind his head. And here's what makes this cargo unlike anything else on the road. Steel doesn't care what time it is. Frozen beef doesn't care if you park in the sun. Bees care. Bees have a schedule, a temperature range, and every bee hauler will tell you this with a straight face of mood. Cool and dark? The colony clusters together, calm, humming, basically asleep. Warm and bright? The colony wakes, spreads, and gets busy. And busy, inside a sealed net, packed against 400 other colonies. In rising heat, that's where the tension in this job lives. Because the driver can't control the sun, he can only control one thing: whether the truck is moving. Here's the piece of physics that rules a bee hauler's entire life, and it's brutally simple. A moving truck makes its own wind. 60, 70 miles an hour of continuous airflow washing through the netted hives, carrying heat away, keeping millions of bodies cool and calm even under a bright sky. As long as the wheels turn, the load stays comfortable. The bees ride the vibration like white noise. Drivers say a rolling bee truck is almost eerily peaceful. Now park it. In sunlight. And watch the clock. The airflow stops instantly. Hundreds of hives, each one already generating its own heat, because a colony is a living engine. Thousands of bodies working begin warming each other. The sun beats on the boxes. 10 minutes, warm. 20 minutes, hot. Keep going, and the hives climb toward temperatures where wax softens, brood dies, and colonies begin to collapse. Beekeepers have a blunt word for what a stalled truck in summer sun becomes. They call it cooking. And heat is only the first problem. The second one is stranger. Bees navigate by the sun. In daylight, foragers want out. That's their job. That's their programming. Stop a bee truck in the middle of a bright afternoon, and even under nets, bees begin finding gaps, slipping free, taking flight. And then they can't find home again. Because home has a diesel engine and left the coordinates they memorized. Every daylight hour parked bleeds bees out of the load. The cargo doesn't just die from stopping, it leaks. So the entire job bends around the sun. Loading happens at night, after dark, when every forager is home and the colonies are calm forklifts working under red-tinted lights, because bees barely see red, moving pallets of humming boxes onto the trailer, while the load literally sleeps through its own departure. Then, the driver rolls, and the real race begins. Cross as much country as possible in the dark and the cool of morning, and be somewhere safe unloaded, or shaded, or high and cold before the afternoon sun gets serious. Truckers everywhere race deadlines. Bee haulers race the sky. So what does a bee run actually feel like? Drivers who do it describe something between a freight job and a medical transport. The fuel stops are planned like pit stops. Night fueling when possible. Daytime stops when they absolutely have to happen, time to minutes, not hours. Get in, pump, roll. Some veteran haulers won't even shut the engine off, and nearly every one of them carries the tool that has saved more loads than any other piece of equipment on the truck: a water hose. Because if a bee truck must sit in the sun, a breakdown, a closed road, an inspection, the emergency response is beautifully low-tech. You spray the load. A fine mist over the nets. The water cools the boxes. And the bees, sensing rain, do exactly what bees do in rain. They go inside and settle down. A 20 million passenger crisis, managed with a garden hose. Even the government bends for this cargo. At agricultural inspection stations and weigh stations, bee trucks are famously waved through. Fast inspectors know that every stationary minute matters. And nobody, anywhere, wants to be the reason a load of 20 million bees sat cooking in a queue. And the driver isn't alone out there. Somewhere behind or ahead, usually, is the beekeeper, the owner of those colonies, shadowing the load in a pickup truck. Tools and spare nets and sugar water on board. Both of them connected by phone. Both of them watching the same two numbers all day long. The outside temperature and the miles remaining. Then there's the part nobody warns new drivers about. The sound. Park a bee truck at night safely, in the cool dark, and stand near the trailer. The whole load hums. One low, continuous breathing note. 400 colonies deep. Drivers say you feel it in your chest more than you hear it. Some find it creepy. Most say it becomes the opposite, the sound of a healthy load. A quiet trailer would be the terrifying one. Where have we heard that before? The ice road, where a loud lake is a safe lake. The frozen truck stop, where the ticking heater is a lullaby. Different cargo, different country, same trucker's truth. The right noise means everything is alive. Remember the driver from the start of this video, the one spraying his trailer at the gas station. That hose trick works when the problem is heat, and the truck can still move. But sometimes, despite everything, a bee truck doesn't just overheat. Sometimes it does worse. There have been crashes. Real, documented ones, a bee truck rolling on an interstate ramp. Hive boxes breaking open. And suddenly a highway has to deal with something no traffic manual ever planned for. Millions of bees, airborne, defensive, and homeless, at rush hour. Emergency crews have shut down interstates for hours. Firefighters have had to use foam. Every local beekeeper within driving distance gets the phone call, bring your suit, bring your boxes. Come now, and they arrive like volunteer firefighters of the insect world, working through the chaos to recapture queens and salvage colonies. Because every box saved is a colony that might survive. Those stories make the news for one chaotic day. What doesn't make the news is what this whole strange system quietly achieves every single year. The loads that don't crash. The thousands of trucks that slip across the country in the dark, hit their orchards before the heat, and release their passengers into 100 million almond blossoms. About 8 out of every 10 commercial hives in America make this trip, which means something worth sitting with for a second. Almost every almond you have ever eaten, every candy bar, every jar of almond butter, every glass of almond milk existed because a trucker somewhere drove through the night, checked his mirrors, watched the temperature, and refused to stop while the sun was up. The cold country truckers we've covered fight to keep heat in. The Brazilians fight to keep people out. The bee haulers might have the strangest mission of them all: keep 20 million passengers asleep and outrun the morning. So that's the job. Load in darkness, race the sky, never park in the sun, and carry a hum in your trailer that most truckers will never hear in their entire careers. Now I want to hear from you, and this one's fun. What's the strangest cargo you've ever hauled, or even just seen on a truck? Bees, fish, rockets, a whole house, whatever it was. Drop it in the comments, because I read every single one, and I have a feeling this comment section is going to be full of stories. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more real stories from the strangest corners of trucking. Because next time, we're following a truck that every tunnel in the country turns away. A truck that plans its entire route around what it's not allowed to drive through. The cargo? Let's just say, there's a reason the rules exist. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you down the road.